Welcome to NextGen Timber, where raw waste meets next-generation crushing power, and heavy machines turn scrap, steel, rubber, wood, rock, and wrecked vehicles into clean industrial output. The Pronar MRW 2.101 starts the show with pure metal aggression. This machine does not politely process car bodies. It attacks them. With 800 horsepower, massive torque, and no hesitation once the jaws start pulling, every vehicle becomes temporary. Panels buckle, frames twist, and resistance disappears under heavy industrial pressure. This is not ordinary recycling. This is controlled destruction built for serious output. Then the PowerHand VRS brings in a completely different style. Instead of simply crushing everything, it dismantles vehicles with speed and precision. Engines, axles, copper wiring, and valuable components are pulled out piece by piece with surgical control. It makes end-of-life vehicle processing cleaner, smarter, and far more efficient. This is where recycling starts looking like advanced machine intelligence at work. Next comes the shark, and the name fits. Branches, logs, and green waste feed into the system, while 48 sharp hammers turn bulky organic material into uniform biomass. Limb after limb gets swallowed, broken down, and converted into usable output. Messy green waste goes in. Clean material comes out. That is next-gen timber efficiency with teeth. Then the mood shifts into something almost absurd. Two bulldozers pushing against each other like steel sumo wrestlers. It looks funny at first, but underneath the scene is pure physics. Weight, traction, balance, torque, and operator timing all collide in slow motion. Huge machines, tiny movements, massive tension. The HSS 600R enters next, looking like an oversized pair of scissors built specifically to punish steel. Thick scrap goes into the shear, and the machine cuts through it with calm, overwhelming pressure. It is not just a tool doing a job, it is a machine taking complete control of the process. Then the Brandenburg RR5 turns car crushing into a high-speed industrial routine. Full vehicles are flattened before the baling stage even begins. And then the 155-ton baling system compresses the loose scrap into dense, clean output. 1 bale per minute. That is not small-scale recycling. That is production line scrap domination. The Hamilton-style destruction machine keeps the pressure going. Engines collapse, frames fold, and full vehicle structures lose their shape under one simple mission: reduce the entire car into manageable scrap. No wasted movement, no hesitation. Just heavy force doing exactly what it was built to do. If this kind of industrial power is why you clicked, subscribe to NextGen Timber now. This channel is built for people who want shredders, crushers, recycling systems, biomass machines, and heavy equipment working at full force. Then the M&J 4000S attacks railroad ties like they are lightweight waste. Thick, stubborn material gets pulled into the system, torn apart, and reduced with unsettling ease. It is smooth, powerful, and slightly terrifying in the best industrial way. The old Neoplan USA and 440LF transliner adds a bit of history to the scrapyard. This was not just another retired bus. It once carried people through city routes, served daily transportation, and belonged to a specific generation of low-floor transit machines. Now its final chapter happens inside the jaws of recycling equipment. Even structural issues and recalls become part of the story before the machine disappears into scrap. Then the ground itself becomes the target. The coal mine blast is not random chaos. It is timed, calculated industrial force. The earth shakes, rock breaks, and the entire operation unfolds like destruction controlled by engineering. Back in waste processing, the Alster U100SB takes on electronic waste at 5,000 kilograms per hour. That is not light sorting. That is serious processing at industrial speed, turning complex electronics into a manageable recycling stream. Railroad ties return again, and the shredders prove the same point. Tough wood, embedded metal, awkward waste, none of it matters when the right machine is involved. What used to be a disposal problem becomes reusable output. Another car shredder follows, built for fast reduction and valuable metal recovery. Whole vehicles vanish into the machine and come out as usable material streams in seconds. Fast input, clean output, no wasted time. But heavy processing has limits too. Even powerful crushers struggle when the material is too slick to grip. Raw force alone is not enough. Then the dual shear takes over the rubber side of the job. Tires do not get neatly sliced, they get destroyed. Steel teeth, high torque, and relentless pulling force rip rubber apart in a way that feels harsh, mechanical, and completely effective. A metal cage enters the shredder next, and the result is obvious before it starts. Rigid steel loses badly. The machine makes resistance look meaningless. Tire recycling scales up with the MTB BDD-17, pushing more than 10 tons per hour. Tires are broken down, separated, and sent toward a second life instead of sitting uselessly as waste. This is what modern recycling looks like when the equipment can actually keep up. Then the Crambo 5000 goes after tangled root masses. Roots are dirty, twisted, heavy, and stubborn. But this machine chews through them and turns the mess into fine mulch. Organic waste becomes useful material once the right system gets involved. The KB700 jaw crusher shifts the action into stone. Large rock feeds into the jaws, pressure takes over, and oversized chunks become usable aggregate. It feels like watching a mountain get translated into gravel one bite at a time. And the sound matters too. The deep jaw movement, the rhythmic crunch, the steady reduction of stone, it is industrial power you can hear. That is the world of NextGen Timber. Vehicle shredders, biomass processors, rail tie shredders, tire recyclers, scrap shears, jaw crushers, and industrial systems built to turn resistance into output. Some cut, some crush, some shred. All of them exist to convert chaos into value. Subscribe to NextGen Timber for more industrial crushing, next-gen recycling systems, scrap destruction, biomass processing, and machines built to handle the dirtiest jobs with brutal precision. Like, comment, and stay with us for the next machine that tears, crushes, shreds, or obliterates its way through another impossible job. Finally, the VB950DK Red Giant closes the show like a machine built from steel and apatite. Engine blocks, transmissions, vehicle frames, and heavy scrap all fold under its crushing power. Once material enters that system, it does not come back the same.